He fought for humanity and was rewarded with a tiny alien woman. Aaron crouched behind the wreckage of a shattered cruiser, his armor scorched and dented from the relentless bombardment. The smoky sky of the dying planet glowed with fires from destroyed cities and crumbling fortresses. He was alone. His unit had been lost hours ago when Command ordered a retreat. Most of humanity had given up on this sector, writing it off as a sacrifice to the alien coalition. But Aaron could not when every step he took kept even a small delay in the enemy's advance. Bullets and plasma streaked across the battlefield, cutting through the haze. He fired his pulse rifle in short bursts, hitting targets with precision, though the numbers of enemies seemed endless. Still, he moved forward, every action calculated to waste time. Every enemy he slowed down bought another chance for the evacuation ships to escape. He remembered his family, though he had not seen them in years. His little sister, the way she would laugh, calling him silly when he tried to be serious. In moments like this, those memories were his shield and his sword. The enemy had underestimated him. Humans were often dismissed as reckless or self-destructive, but there was a kind of stubbornness in them that could turn the tide in impossible situations. That stubbornness was what carried him now. Hours passed and exhaustion began to gnaw at his body. His armor's cooling system faltered, sweat mixed with soot making his vision blur. Still, he fought. Every explosion, every fallen enemy reminded him of the stakes. This was not just a battle, it was survival, the final stand of those who refused to surrender. Then, as he ducked behind a collapsed wall, he noticed movement, small, almost imperceptible. A glimmer among the smoke. He froze, every sense heightened. From the haze emerged a figure no taller than his forearm, moving with a grace that seemed impossible. It was humanoid but delicate, its skin faintly glowing, its eyes wide and intelligent. The tiny being moved toward him, unafraid of the chaos surrounding them. Aaron blinked. This was no trick of his mind, no hallucination brought on by stress. The creature spoke, though its voice was soft, almost melodic and yet clear in his ears. Aaron. The single word cut through the noise. He froze, recognizing it not as a threat but as a recognition, a memory somehow connecting him to something ancient and unseen. He lowered his weapon slightly. "Who? What are you?" he asked, his voice rough from shouting and dust. The tiny figure paused, tilting its head in a gesture that seemed almost human. "I am Leary. I have been waiting for you," Aaron frowned. "Waiting for me? Why, what are you?" "I cannot explain everything now," Leary replied, her glow flickering as if the energy around her was unstable. "But you must come. There is no time. The enemy will be here soon." Even with the battle raging, something in her voice made him obey. He followed her, moving through the ruins with surprising agility despite his exhaustion. She led him to a small, hidden craft, barely large enough for a single human. Its design was unlike anything he had ever seen. Organic curves, soft glowing lines, a quiet hum that resonated with life itself. Without hesitation, Leary gestured for him to enter. Inside, the world changed. The chaos of the battlefield was muffled. The interior seemed alive, responding to their presence. The walls shifted subtly, and a calming energy enveloped him. Aaron sank to the floor, trying to catch his breath. Leary floated in front of him, her tiny hands clasped together. "Why are you helping me?" he asked, bewildered. "Humans, we are at war. You could let me die." Her eyes glowed brighter. "Because you are part of a promise. Long ago, humans saved us when no one else would. You have fought without knowing and without expecting. That is why I am here." Aaron's mind raced. It was impossible. Humanity had never known of any alien allies this small, this secret. Yet looking into Leary's eyes, he felt the truth of her words. There was no deceit, only purpose and calm determination. As the craft lifted off, the devastation below became smaller. The fires still burned, but for the first time, Aaron felt a shred of hope. He was not alone. Someone had seen his struggle, someone who remembered the sacrifices of humans long forgotten. And now that memory was alive, embodied in this tiny alien who had risked everything to find him. Hours passed in tense silence. Aaron learned from Leary that the Lumi, her people, had survived countless wars in hiding. They were tiny in stature but wise beyond comprehension, watching over the galaxy and sometimes intervening to preserve life. Humans, in their reckless bravery, had once saved her ancestors. This act had become a vow carried silently through centuries, waiting for the moment it would be fulfilled. Aaron struggled to comprehend. All this time, we fought, we died, we lost, and nobody knew. And now you're telling me it was remembered. Leary nodded. Every life matters, Aaron. Your fight today is not just for humans. It echoes across species, across time. The galaxy will remember those who protect life when no one else will. Suddenly, sensors on the small vessel flashed red. Enemy detection, Leary whispered, and for the first time her calm demeanor showed a flicker of urgency. They are close. We must leave this system immediately. Aaron grabbed his rifle instinctively. You said you can't fight them. How can we survive? With what you know, with what you do best, Leary replied. You are humanity's stubbornness made flesh. Trust me, it will be enough for now. The enemy fleet appeared on the sensors, massive and overwhelming. Aaron felt the old rush of adrenaline, the familiar pulse of combat instinct. Even inside this alien vessel, he prepared for the impossible. Every evasive maneuver, every calculated risk, every instinct honed in decades of warfare surged forward. He realized that even as humanity was considered weak and reckless, there was something no one could take away: their refusal to surrender. Hours became tense maneuvers through asteroid fields, near misses with enemy scanners, and stealth navigation past massive warships. Leary guided the craft, but Aaron's knowledge of tactics and survival kept them alive. Together, they were a strange partnership, the human soldier and the tiny alien who had come across time to repay an ancient debt. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the enemy lost their trail and the craft slipped into a quiet, uncharted system. The stars were different here, calmer, untouched by war. Aaron exhaled, letting his rifle fall to the floor. For the first time in days, he allowed himself to rest. Leary hovered before him, her glow soft and comforting. You have done more than survive, Aaron. You have upheld what humanity never knew it promised. Aaron shook his head, still overwhelmed. I fought because I had no choice. I wanted to protect others. Isn't that what anyone would do? Her eyes sparkled. Not everyone does, not when death is certain and help seems impossible. You acted when many would have fled. That is why you are here, why I found you. For a moment, silence wrapped around them like a blanket. Outside, stars sparkled, indifferent and eternal. But within the small craft, something fragile and profound had begun. The connection between a human who fought for life and a tiny alien who remembered the value of that fight. Aaron realized that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was larger than any battle, and wars were far from over. Yet for the first time, he felt a thread of hope, a reminder that courage was never truly forgotten. And at his side floated Leary, a living reminder that even the smallest being could carry the weight of the universe, and that humanity's fight had meaning beyond survival. As the craft disappeared into the stars, Aaron whispered almost to himself, "Then let's see what comes next." Leary smiled, and together they sailed toward the unknown, ready to face whatever the galaxy would throw at them, bound by a promise that stretched across centuries and the fragile hope of life itself. Aaron awoke to soft lights and the hum of the vessel. The strange craft felt alive, responding subtly to every movement he made. Leary floated near, watching him with quiet patience. Her glow pulsed gently, a rhythm that seemed to sync with his heartbeat, calming the lingering tension from battle. He tried to stand but stumbled, the exhaustion weighing heavily on him. She caught him effortlessly, her small hand surprisingly strong, and guided him to a smooth surface that served as a seat. "Where are we?" he asked, his voice hoarse. "What is this place?" "This is one of the Lumi sanctuaries," Leary replied, her eyes reflecting starlight. "It is hidden from the galaxy, a safe haven for those who preserve life. We have been waiting for you." Aaron struggled to comprehend. Humanity had never known of such beings. Tiny, delicate creatures with powers and knowledge far beyond what he had ever imagined. Yet here she was, guiding him, helping him survive. "Why me? Why not someone else?" he asked. "Because you fought when no one else would," Leary answered. "The humans of your time are seen as reckless and dangerous by most species, but you acted with courage that mattered. That is why you were found." Aaron looked out through the vessel's transparent wall, seeing stars and distant planets. A sense of awe washed over him. Even amidst the chaos of war, the universe held secrets and life forms that humans had never dreamed of. He felt small and yet significant, a single life that mattered to beings who had watched over eons. Leary moved closer and spoke again. "Long ago, your species saved our ancestors when the galaxy turned against us. Your bravery became a vow, carried silently for centuries. And today, your actions fulfilled that vow." Aaron shook his head, overwhelmed. "All this time, humanity fought, died, and suffered without ever knowing, and now you are telling me it mattered." "It mattered more than you can imagine," she replied softly. "Your fight echoes across species and time. Life remembers those who protect it without expecting reward." He swallowed hard, still struggling to accept the truth. "And now, what happens next?" Leary's glow dimmed slightly, a shadow of concern passing over her delicate face. "Now we prepare. The enemy fleets have detected unusual energy readings linked to your survival. They will come, and the Lumi cannot fight them openly. You must help us navigate and survive until the danger passes." Aaron's hand instinctively reached for his pulse rifle, even inside the alien vessel. "How can I fight them? I don't even know where we are." "You know enough," Leary said, her voice calm but insistent. "Your experience, your tactics, your ability to survive impossible odds. We have not faced war in centuries. You have something we lack, human ingenuity and determination." As he absorbed this, alarms flashed across the vessel's interior. Sensors picked up multiple approaching ships. The enemy fleet was close, their massive forms silhouetted against the stars. Aaron's pulse quickened, a familiar rush of adrenaline taking over. "How bad is it?" he asked. "They are fast and aggressive," Leary said, her tiny form glowing brighter with urgency. "If we are detected, we will be pursued. There is no room for error." Aaron nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He moved to the control panel, using his knowledge of evasion, strategy, and instinct. Leary guided him, explaining subtle nuances of the vessel's systems. Together, they formed an unlikely partnership, human and Lumi, small alien and soldier combining their strengths to survive. The chase began. Asteroids, nebulae, and uncharted celestial bodies became their playground for survival. Aaron calculated angles, predicted enemy movements, and issued commands. Leary adjusted the vessel's energy flow, subtly altering its form to slip past scanners. For hours, they evaded detection, sometimes by inches, sometimes by instinct alone. During a brief moment of calm, Aaron finally allowed himself to ask a question that had haunted him. "Why are you called a reward? Why would a civilization repay a human in this way?" Leary smiled faintly, hovering near him. "Because we repay in life, in bonds. Our reward is not wealth or power. It is the connection between those who act with courage and those who remember. That bond is rare, and it carries meaning beyond your understanding." Aaron considered her words. In all his years of fighting, he had never imagined such a reward. A tiny alien woman, luminous and wise, who had watched across centuries for this moment. It was surreal. Yet he felt it, the truth in her eyes, the sincerity in her voice. The galaxy was far larger and stranger than he had known. Hours passed in tense silence, punctuated by the occasional detection alert. Aaron learned to trust Leary's instincts as much as his own. When the enemy fleet approached dangerous proximity, she guided them into a dense asteroid field, hiding them among massive rocks and debris. The alien technology adapted to his suggestions, reshaping the craft subtly to reduce its energy signature. Finally, the fleet passed, failing to locate them. The tension eased slightly, though not completely. Aaron sank to the floor of the vessel, exhaustion overwhelming him. Leary floated above, observing him with what he could only describe as a gentle concern. "You did well," she said softly, "not just in survival but in strategy. The galaxy may see humans as reckless, but you have shown that courage and ingenuity can outmatch even the greatest threats." Aaron smiled weakly. "I just do what I can." "I never thought it would matter beyond the battle." Leary's glow brightened in affirmation. "It matters more than you realize. Every action echoes across time and species. Your fight today has preserved lives you will never meet, lives that will shape the future of the galaxy." For a long while, Aaron sat in silence, absorbing the enormity of what he had done and what he had yet to face. Leary hovered near, her presence a calming reminder of the unusual but profound connection they now shared. The bond between human and Lumi was fragile, delicate, and yet powerful. As the small vessel drifted into the quiet of uncharted space, Aaron understood that his journey was only beginning. Leary was not just a reward. She was a guide, a witness, and a reminder that courage could not be forgotten, even in the face of overwhelming darkness. Aaron looked at her and whispered almost to himself, "Then let's see what comes next." Leary smiled, her tiny form glowing softly in the calm light of distant stars. Together, they sailed toward the unknown, ready to face whatever the galaxy would send, bound by courage, trust, and the fragile hope of life itself. Aaron spent the next hours recovering as the small vessel drifted through the calm reaches of uncharted space. Leary stayed near him, her glow gentle, occasionally adjusting the vessel's systems with movements almost too delicate to notice. He tried to understand everything she had told him: the Lumi, the ancient vow, and the strange reward he now carried in the form of a tiny alien woman. Yet he could not fully grasp it. The scale of time and the vastness of the galaxy made human concerns feel small, almost insignificant. Leary spoke softly. "You may not understand now, but your actions today were more than survival. They are part of a greater plan, a debt older than stars." Aaron frowned, rubbing his face. "Debt older than stars. I just fought to stay alive. I didn't know I was part of some galactic plan." She tilted her head, her expression both serious and patient. "Sometimes courage and instinct create effects that ripple far beyond what one can see. You are connected to something greater, even if you cannot yet see it." Before he could ask more, alarms blared throughout the vessel. The enemy fleet had detected their energy signature, homing in with aggressive speed. Aaron leapt into action, analyzing their trajectory and weapons. Leary gestured to small, glowing controls he had never noticed before. "You will guide us through." "I will follow your commands," she said. Using a combination of human tactics and the vessel's advanced Lumi technology, they navigated asteroid belts, maneuvered through gravitational fields, and slipped past enemy scanners. Aaron directed movements, anticipating every pursuit, while Leary adjusted the ship's energy and shield alignment in ways he could barely comprehend. Together, they transformed a desperate flight into a calculated survival. Hours turned into a tense ordeal. The enemy fleet was relentless, relentless in both size and persistence. Yet every time they closed in, Aaron's strategies, guided by instinct and experience, found an escape. Leary watched him with admiration. "Humans are truly remarkable," she said quietly. "Your species survives against odds that seem impossible." Finally, they reached a point where the enemy fleet lost their trail, unable to track them through a complex field of asteroids and energy distortions. Aaron sank to the floor, exhausted and exhilarated. For the first time since the battle, he felt a small victory. Leary floated above him, her tiny form glowing steadily. "You have done more than survive. You have upheld the promise of humanity's courage and protection." Aaron shook his head, still trying to grasp the enormity of what had happened. "I don't feel like a hero. I just acted. I didn't think about debt or promises or centuries of history." "That is why you are worthy," Leary said softly. "Courage without expectation is rare. That is why the Lumi wish to repay your actions." Aaron studied her, the small, delicate being who had traveled across time to find him. Her words carried weight, yet he still did not fully understand the nature of the reward. She seemed almost ethereal, a creature of light and intelligence far beyond human comprehension. And yet her presence was comforting, grounding him in the midst of chaos and uncertainty. "What is this reward?" he asked cautiously. "You said there would be a reward." "But I don't understand." Leary's glow brightened as she answered. "The reward is not power, not wealth, not titles. It is a bond, a connection that will last as long as you live. I am that bond. I will remain with you to witness, guide, and share your journey." Aaron blinked, unsure how to react. A tiny alien woman as a reward was not something he could have imagined. Yet as he looked into her intelligent eyes, he sensed sincerity. She was not a trophy or a prize. She was a living embodiment of gratitude, of life remembered, of courage acknowledged. The vessel continued through the quiet void, and Aaron realized that even as humanity was largely forgotten by the galaxy, his actions had meaning. Each life saved, each strategy executed, each act of bravery resonated beyond his understanding. And now, a witness to those deeds floated beside him, small but significant, carrying the weight of a promise older than stars. Aaron spoke quietly, almost to himself. "Then we have to survive. We have to make it through together." Leary smiled faintly, her glow a gentle pulse of warmth. "Yes, together. And in doing so, humanity's courage will echo across the galaxy once more." They spent the next hours navigating silent star systems, sharing stories of human resilience and Lumi history. Aaron learned about the delicate, ancient civilization that had hidden from the galaxy, preserving life in quiet ways humans could scarcely imagine. Leary explained that her people had watched many civilizations rise and fall, but the human stubborn bravery had left a mark that could not be erased. At one point, Aaron asked, "Have humans ever saved your kind before? How could we have known?" Leary nodded. "Long ago, humans fought to protect us when the galaxy threatened our existence. Your ancestors acted without expectation, without reward. That act became a vow, carried through generations of Lumi memory. And now, that vow is fulfilled." Aaron took a deep breath, feeling a mixture of awe and humility. It was strange, knowing that the consequences of actions long past could reach across centuries to touch him now. Yet there was clarity in it as well, a reminder that even small deeds could have vast repercussions. Suddenly, the vessel's sensors detected movement. The enemy fleet had not given up entirely. Smaller pursuit ships approached from behind, faster and more dangerous than before. Aaron's pulse quickened. "We're not out of danger yet," he said, rising to his feet. Leary floated next to him, her glow intensifying. "We can handle them," she said calmly. "But you must guide us. I will follow your lead." Using every skill he had honed in battle, Aaron directed evasive maneuvers, timing movements with Leary's adjustments. They wove through asteroids, using gravitational pulls and energy distortions to confuse the pursuers. The chase was relentless, but Aaron felt a strange exhilaration, a reminder that even in danger, humans thrived on challenge. After hours of tense maneuvers, the enemy ships finally broke off pursuit. Silence returned to the vessel, broken only by the soft hum of its systems. Aaron sank to the floor, spent but alive. Leary hovered above, her glow soft and comforting. "You have done more than survive," she repeated. "You have upheld humanity's promise, and in doing so, created a bond that transcends time and space." Aaron looked at her, the tiny being who had become his companion and witness. "Then I guess we continue together," he said quietly. Leary nodded, her glow brightening with affirmation. As the vessel drifted further into uncharted space, Aaron realized that the galaxy was vast, full of dangers, mysteries, and secrets. Yet for the first time he felt hope. Humanity's courage had not been forgotten, and now, beside him, floated a living reminder of that truth. And together, they would face whatever the galaxy held, bound by trust, resilience, and the fragile yet enduring hope of life itself. The quiet of uncharted space gave Aaron only a brief respite. Days passed as he and Leary traveled further from the remnants of human space, navigating star systems unknown to him. The bond between them grew, subtle yet undeniable. Leary was no longer just a guide or witness. She was a companion, tiny yet wise, her presence a reminder that the universe remembered those who fought without expectation. Aaron spent hours at the vessel's control panel, planning their route, scanning for threats, and devising ways to avoid detection. Leary floated near, explaining subtle nuances of space travel that humans had never discovered. Together they formed a rhythm, human instinct and alien insight blending into a seamless partnership. It was strange, unusual, and yet it worked. One morning, as the stars shimmered faintly beyond the vessel's window, Leary spoke softly. "When we return to human space, you will face disbelief and fear. Many will not understand why I am here." Aaron looked at her, sensing both caution and gentle warning. "What do you mean? They will think I've gone mad or that I've found some strange alien to control." Leary's tiny form glowed faintly. "They may see me as a threat or an unknown power. The galaxy is wary of connections like ours. Your choice to protect me openly could make humanity a target." Aaron's jaw tightened. He had survived countless battles, yet the prospect of defending a tiny alien companion in human space made him pause. Still, he felt an inner resolve forming. He had fought for life countless times, for humans and others alike. Protecting Leary would not be different. Their journey continued, and signs of enemy activity grew. Intelligence reports, intercepted transmissions, and faint energy traces suggested that hostile forces had not forgotten the humans who had survived in the outer sectors. Aaron and Leary had to remain vigilant, relying on both strategy and instinct. One evening, as they rested, Aaron spoke quietly, almost to himself. "Why is your people so invested in this? Why risk so much for one human?" Leary's glow pulsed softly. "Because you represent something rare, courage without expectation, a willingness to protect life even when it is dangerous. Humanity once saved us, and today you continue that legacy. That is worth preserving." Aaron nodded slowly, understanding that the small alien beside him carried centuries of history, gratitude, and hope. The weight of her presence was heavier than she appeared, her tiny form embodying the memory of a species' survival. He realized that protecting her was not just about saving one life. It was about honoring a promise older than human memory. As they approached human-controlled space, tension tightened. Aaron knew that military leaders would question him, would doubt his story, would perhaps even see him as a liability. The presence of Leary, a being no larger than his hand, would be a challenge to explain. Yet he felt a steadfast resolve. He would not hide her. He would stand openly with her, no matter the consequences. Enemy forces, however, were relentless. A small scouting fleet had detected them, drawn by Leary's energy signature. Aaron and Leary navigated through asteroid fields and energy storms, using every tactic and skill to evade capture. The journey tested both their endurance and their growing bond. Every narrow escape reminded Aaron of the fragility of life and the importance of his choices. Finally, after a tense and exhausting chase, they entered human space. Communications scrambled, signals intercepted, and curiosity ran rampant across the fleet. Aaron took a deep breath, preparing to face the consequences of revealing Leary to the world. He called for a transmission to the nearest human command station. The leaders responded with confusion and skepticism, demanding identification. Aaron placed Leary on the console, allowing her tiny form to glow gently. The room went silent as every human present stared in disbelief. Leary spoke softly, her voice calm and clear. "I am Leary of the Lumi. I come as witness and companion to Aaron, whose courage saved countless lives. I carry the memory of a debt long held and offer a bond of recognition and trust." For a moment, silence dominated the room. Then, questions, disbelief, and murmurs filled the space. Some military leaders called it a trick, an alien device, or even a threat. Aaron stood firm, holding his ground and meeting every gaze with calm resolve. He had faced impossible odds before. He could face this. "I am not alone in recognizing humanity's courage," Leary continued. "My people remember, and I am here to honor that memory." Aaron watched her, realizing that what had begun as a strange, almost surreal reward had become a test of trust, courage, and the truth of human heroism. He felt a deep resolve. No matter the misunderstanding, no matter the fear, he would protect Leary and through her, preserve the memory of humanity's bravery. As the days passed, human leaders debated, observers whispered, and some allies remained silent in doubt. But Aaron and Leary remained steadfast, their bond growing stronger. They were a symbol, a living connection between the forgotten acts of humans and the watchful eyes of those who remembered. Together, they faced uncertainty, danger, and skepticism, ready to show that courage, integrity, and protection of life could never truly be hidden. Aaron stood before the Galactic Assembly, his small companion Leary glowing gently at his side. The chamber was vast, filled with representatives from countless species, some tall and armored, others delicate and shimmering. Their eyes studied him and the tiny alien woman with suspicion, curiosity, and disbelief. He took a deep breath, remembering the battles he had survived, the countless lives he had tried to protect, and the promise that Leary represented. She had traveled across time and space, small yet significant, a living reminder of humanity's courage and the ancient debt they had unknowingly carried. Leary floated beside him, her glow brightening slightly. She spoke first, her voice clear and unwavering. "I am Leary of the Lumi. We have observed humanity across centuries. Your species is often misunderstood, feared, or dismissed. But there are those among you who act without expectation, who protect life even when it is dangerous. Aaron is one such human." The assembly murmured in surprise. Some leaned forward skeptical while others listened intently. Aaron raised a hand for silence, then began to speak. "I am not a hero by choice. I fought because it was necessary, because life, whether human or not, is worth protecting. I was not alone. Many of my comrades fought and many fell. But today I stand to show that humanity's courage is real and that our actions matter, even when forgotten." Leary's glow pulsed gently, supporting his words. She added, "The Lumi owe a debt to humanity, carried silently through centuries. This bond is not just about one life, but about the recognition that bravery, selflessness, and protection of life cannot be ignored. Today, we honor that truth." The chamber grew quiet. Representatives whispered among themselves, weighing the words. Some skeptics demanded evidence, while others began to realize the significance of what was being revealed. Small, oppressed species observed closely, understanding that their survival and history were intertwined with humanity's actions. Aaron felt a wave of responsibility, knowing that the galaxy's perception of humans could shift based on this moment. He glanced at Leary, who looked back with eyes full of trust and assurance. He took a deep breath and continued, "We do not fight for glory or dominance. We fight to protect those who cannot fight for themselves. That is what makes us human. That is why we must stand together with honesty, courage, and compassion." A representative from a neighboring species, tall and metallic, rose. "If what you say is true, then humanity has been misunderstood for centuries. This revelation changes the narrative of the galaxy." Others nodded, murmuring in agreement. Leary's voice rang softly. "The galaxy remembers what humans have done, even if silently. It is time the truth is known. We emerge from secrecy to honor what was done and to support those who continue to protect life." Aaron realized then that this was more than a personal victory. It was the validation of humanity's resilience, bravery, and the sacrifices made in countless battles. Through Leary, the tiny alien who had come across time, the galaxy could see the truth of their heroism. And perhaps, for the first time, humans would not be feared or dismissed, but respected and understood. Days passed as discussions continued, alliances slowly forming. Humanity's reputation shifted as evidence, witness accounts, and the testimony of the Lumi and other species came forward. Former enemies watched closely, recognizing the unexpected bravery and the influence of humans on galactic survival. Aaron and Leary became a symbol, not of conquest, but of courage, perseverance, and the quiet power of protecting life. Alone in the quiet moments aboard their vessel, Aaron spoke softly, "We did it. The galaxy sees now what humans are capable of." Leary floated close, her glow soft and comforting. "Yes, and it will remember. Your courage, your choices, your actions, they echo across time and space. Humanity's legacy is alive, and now others see it too." Aaron smiled, feeling a mixture of relief and purpose. He realized that the reward he had received was more than companionship. It was a testament to the enduring impact of life defended without expectation. Leary, small yet powerful in presence, had become both a witness and a guide, ensuring that humanity's bravery would not be forgotten. As they looked out across the stars, the galaxy no longer seemed indifferent. Humanity was no longer alone. The wars were far from over, but the recognition of courage, the power of alliances, and the bond between species gave hope. And beside him floated Leary, the tiny alien who had traveled across time to honor a promise, a living reminder that bravery, protection, and trust could shape the universe. Aaron whispered almost to himself, "Then we keep going. We keep fighting and we keep protecting." Leary's glow pulsed in agreement, her tiny hand brushing against his. Together, they faced the stars, ready to continue their journey, bound by courage, trust, and the enduring hope that humanity's fight mattered not just to themselves, but to the entire galaxy.